All right, so up to this point, we've looked at most of HTML5 and the basics of CSS. We created a little hotel website, and it does use some elements of responsive design, but it still isn't responsive because we have yet to add media queries where they're needed. If you go and you take the hotel website and you make your browser really small, it's going to look like crap, but we're going to fix that by the end of this section. So I just want to quickly go over what responsiveness is and how we can achieve it. Then we'll jump in, we'll look at media queries and some other stuff such as relative CSS units. So responsive design is when we use HTML and CSS to make a website or an application layout respond to different screen sizes. And a few years ago, making a website or a layout responsive was kind of a luxury. I can actually remember asking clients if they wanted to pay extra to make their website responsive. But now it's really a necessity. It's not an add-on or a luxury. And the reason for that is the huge increase of the use of smartphones and tablets and other devices. A lot of people now don't even have computers. They're fine with either a tablet or even their smartphone. So let's look at some of the different ways to achieve responsive design. So the viewport tag is important because it tells the browser how to handle the pages and dimensions and scaling. We've already set this in our pages, and it's actually default with Emmet with our boilerplate generation in VS Code. Using fluid widths is also something we've done. Remember, our containers, we use max width instead of just width. It allows the text to adapt to smaller screen sizes. Now, the most significant part of responsive web design, and probably the most difficult, are media queries. Not setting them, but learning how to use them and when to use them. And media queries allow us to specify certain CSS styles based on the screen size. So, for example, if we wanted to float some elements, if the screen was bigger than 600 pixels, we could write a media query for that. If we wanted a font size to be smaller on just mobile devices that were 500 pixels or less, we could do that as well. All right, so we're gonna do that, and we're also going to update our hotel project to use media queries. Another good idea is to use rem units over pixels. It keeps sizes intact with the rest of the page because a rem unit is a multiplier of whatever the root HTML element's font size is. Okay, so, and we're gonna go over that in this section. We're also going to talk about VH and VW units. So we also have a design method or strategy called mobile first, which is pretty popular these days. This is where you first design the layout for mobile devices, meaning small screens, and then you add your media queries for the larger screen styles. And you might even display less content on mobile devices, your most important content, and then have more on larger devices when you have more real estate. And we're actually going to do a mobile first project later on.